Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and any other time of the day that it may be. How are we all? How is this? Well, I was going to say how's this winter treating you, but there's people all over the world listening to this, and I don't know what season you're in. So currently we're not even in winter, so I don't even know why we said that. Are we? We're in autumn. I think I need to go back to school to learn some geography about weather, times of years, seasons. This menopause, I don't recommend it. I'm just saying, menopause brain is not something that I would give 5 or 10 stars to, depending on how many stars you ask me to mark it out of. It is a bit chilly, but I tell you what, I've noticed though that my heating's on a lot more. And I'm sweating buckets because I am, as we just said, very menopausal, hormonal. Sweat comes from places that before I was menopausal didn't sweat before. We have puddles, we have everything. I get that's TMI, but listen, some of you might understand. You may be able to empathise. But I need to dry my washing, and my washing's not going to dry with icicles hanging for it out my back. Now you all understand why I get so excited about being able to hang my washing out, because currently I've got washings hanging over doors and radiators and about 25 million clothes horses, clothes dryers, clothes whatever you want to call them. So yes, that's how my week's going. We've been working, we've been busy, we've been trying to stay warm, we've been sweating, we've been cold, we've had every heat description that you could have. I don't think my brain's working. Remember I went for that MRI, I've still not got the results, so maybe they genuinely are still trying to find my brain. Who knows? Who knows? You decide. I know that's not right, it's who goes, you decide. What was that from again? Don't know. Anyway, that's the way this episode's going to go. How you've all been the last week? I am clearly over my man flu. I have yet again forgot to turn my phone on to silent. We're over the man flu. I'm sure there will be another dose sometime soon. When you say dose, that sounds like it's something else, doesn't it? Who's started their Christmas shopping? Put your hands up in the air, put your hands up in the air. Me, I've started mine. If anybody follows my personal account on TikTok, you won't be able to follow my personal account on any other platforms apart from TikTok. But if you follow my personal account on TikTok, did you see the video I put up today? So I've got my showcase thing where you can put a link to products on TikTok and you get commission based if anybody orders from it and things like that. So I've been ordering some Christmas presents, and I tell you, since when did I first download TikTok? 2 or 3 years ago. And I tell you, it has saved my bank account an awful lot with some of the stuff I bought on there. And this is my very, 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 very first bad experience. So I bought a present for somebody. I don't really want to give out too much information in case they're listening and then they say me no one of their presents they're getting for their Christmas. But anyway, I bought a clock for somebody. In the description, it says it's a metal clock, blah, blah, blah. The description of how it looks and the design on it, which I don't want to go into because as soon as I say the design, the person will know it's theirs. And it works off of AA batteries. We all know AA's are very important. Sorry. But it came today. And there is a picture of a clock on a bit of metal, but it doesn't actually clock. It doesn't tick tock. It doesn't tell the time. It doesn't have arms or hands or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have anywhere to put any batteries. It just is a bit of metal with a picture of a clock. If you want to see the clock, you're welcome to go onto my TikTok. I mean, that's taking the absolute mick, isn't it? Because the clock's meant to say TikTok and I bought it off of TikTok and it doesn't do the TikTok, but you need to go to TikTok to watch the non-TikTok. There's no tickety-tockety going on with this clock. Doesn't matter how many batteries you buy, there's nowhere to put them. So if you do want to, it's, I don't even know what my thing is. Wait, it's something like alien _ this and that maybe. Wait, and I'll tell you, hold on. Hold up, wait a minute. I need to turn my volume down just in case anybody wants to talk. So let's see, what's the tickety-tockety? So at alien, all lowercase, AILWN _ this, so just a not an and, just a that, alien _ this, that, all lowercase. If you want to, you don't have to. But I mean, you also know that you do have the tickety-tockety for this page, for this podcast, for the Reboot Sanctuary, and also for Reboot Your Business podcast. So if you would like to follow any of the pages, you're more than welcome. The only reason I say you won't be able to follow any of my other personal pages is because Instagram and Facebook, I obviously have pictures and videos or whatever of my sons, and I only really add close family and friends to them. But I don't really put too much personal on TikTok. I don't put anything to do with my sons on there. It's all just, I suppose, me being me. So yes, what we're going to talk about today, I think I'm just going to have a wee check-in with you today. We're just going to check in. We're not going to be too serious because clearly Alien's brain is at that time of the month or year or life where it's not tickety-tockety either. The batteries haven't been recharged, nobody's put the 50 pence in her or wound her up. I mean, they might have wound me up, but not in the way that you need to be wound up to work. Wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up. Who remembers that song? Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, let's have a wee check-in, let's have a wee self-care, think of you, check-in. How are you doing? How has your personal life been, your work life? We're getting to that season now where, well, in some countries, obviously I can only talk for the UK, where people start getting a bit down. We're getting to that time of year even, depending on the celebrations that you do celebrate, if you celebrate any, where people might start getting themselves stressed. I know I'm laughing and joking just now about Christmas presents and things like that, but we are all too good at putting pressure on ourselves at this time of year. We're all too good at making sure that we have perfected everything for Christmas. If you sit and think about it, what's really going to happen if it's not perfect? What's really going to happen if you don't get every single present on the list? What's really going to happen if you don't make the best Christmas dinner? Or you choose who you want round the table and not who other people expect round the table? Let me tell you, we're being dramatic. Jazz hands dramatic, you know. Not an awful lot, to be fair. You're not going to be struck down by lightning. You're not going to have social services at your door because you've not bought your children every gift that's on the list. You're not going to have the police at your door because you've not gave your children the same meal as your next door neighbour. Nothing bad's going to happen if you can't do everything. And listen, nobody can do everything. And see, if you're sitting thinking, but people with money, this, that and the next thing. People with money may be paying others to do it for them, which then takes away the meaning of Christmas. It then takes away the gesture into giving, because they've not put any effort into it. They've paid somebody to go and buy the gifts for them or choose the gifts for them. They've paid somebody to make that meal for them. They've paid somebody to, and I'm not saying this is everybody with money, so please don't jump on me. But if you can only spend £5, £1, £20 on somebody, but another family member or friend spent £100, that's okay. You put thought and love into that gift. It's the thought that counts. It's not the monetary value of something, it's what's behind the gift. It's the love, the care, the affection, the everything that goes with the gift, the meaning behind it. You thought about that person enough to spend £3, £5, £20, £10, whatever it is, on that gift. You thought about them. If you can only make, or you want to make, fish fingers, chips and beans for Christmas dinner, and don't come at me if you'd rather have peas than beans. If you'd rather have peas than beans, then we cannot be friends. I'm sorry. We need the beans, because you need the sauce to dip, and yeah, you know. So if you're making fish fingers, chips and beans, that's some people's ideal. They'd love that. Yeah, some might want turkey, some might want chicken, some might want a baked potato. Me personally, I'd be happy with a full pavlova and a tub of single cream. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and I'm happy as a pig in shite. I've got a sweet tooth, not too sweet a tooth, but I would rather have pudding. I would rather have my bowl of soup, dip some bread in, skip the meal, give me a pavlova, which will probably cost me £1. I don't know. I mean, the rate prices are going up, then it'll probably cost me a tenner. Give me a raspberry pavlova. Don't ask for a bit, because you're not getting a bit. If you want a bit of pavlova, you buy your own. Or ask me to buy two. A tub of Asda single cream that's about 75p, probably about £5 now. And I'm happy. We'll probably have my mum for Christmas dinner again. Me and the boys have already settled down on the plans for Christmas Day, and we're basically not leaving the house, apart from when I need to go and pick my mum up and bring her round, but she's literally 2 minutes round the corner. Apart from that, we're not leaving the house. We're staying in the house all day. We will stay in our pyjamas all day, which we do every Christmas. We used to have to get dressed. We used to stay in our pyjamas all day, and then when we were going to my mum's for Christmas dinner, she would make us put clothes on. But because it's my house, it's my rules, and if you want to stay in your pyjamas all day, you stay in your pyjamas all day. I personally will be in my pyjamas all day. I will get changed, don't get me wrong. Once we've done the presents and everything else, and we've done breakfast, brunch, lunch, whatever it is we're having, if we're having anything, because obviously children sit and eat their lunch, their chocolate all day. We'll have our baths and everything, getting it fresh jammies. But I will be in pyjamas all day. I will not be doing my hair. I will not be putting a drop of makeup on. Listen, you'll be lucky if I put some deodorant on. I'm kidding on. So don't put pressure on yourself. And listen, I've done it. We've all done it. And as the years go on, the kids get older. And you get older, I suppose. You realise what is more important in life. And see if you bring your children up with good morals, good values and everything else, and not to expect, and you explain, especially when they're younger, you explain to them that Santa may only be able to bring some of the gifts that's on your list. He may not be able to bring everything, because he's got children all over the world that he needs to make or collect gifts for. He needs to deliver them. So you need to remember that on his sleigh, Santa can only fit so many gifts. So if everything on your list doesn't get delivered, it's not because you've been naughty, and it's not because Santa doesn't want you to have that gift. It's just that there's another wee boy or girl out there who may have only asked for that gift, and Santa might only have been able to make or get one of them. So because you asked for other gifts, he gave you your other gifts, and that other wee boy or girl, because they only asked for one gift, they got the gift that you didn't get. And maybe you might be able to get that at a birthday or later in the year, or if you get Christmas money, you might be able to go and buy it yourself. So don't panic about Christmas. Don't panic about Christmas dinner. Try and take some pressure off yourself. If you go down to the woods today, you're sure for a big surprise. That actually wasn't what I was going to say there. But if you go to family at Christmas and there's maybe, say, 10 or 15 or whatever of yous, or 5, whatever, however many of yous there is, and you're panicking about exchanging gifts because you can't afford to buy gifts for everybody, why not make the suggestion that instead of everybody buying gifts for everybody, you all pick a name out of a hat, you all buy one gift, and you put a maximum on it, a £5, a £10, whatever it is you know that you can afford. And if anybody goes over that, that's on them, but that's what you have settled on. And it takes pressure off of everybody, because you'll probably find that there's more than just you thinking along those lines. And Christmas is all about family and who's round about, and being with the people that you care for and that you love, remembering the people that you care and love for that aren't here anymore, and making the kids smile. Christmas is a magical time for children, but it doesn't mean that you have to be putting yourself in a state where you're not going to enjoy it because you've put that much pressure on yourself to make sure the children get everything. You could even, what I used to do is get them to put their list in an order of what they would prefer, what would be their first choice gift. So say there was 10 gifts on the list, the most important gift to them would be number 1. And I would work my way down the list. Listen, my youngest would put like 50 gifts on there. There was no way he was getting 50 gifts. But the other thing you can do is you can kind of divvy it out along family. If there's family members that buy gifts as well, like grandparents or aunts or uncles or anything like that, or maybe your friends buy your kids gifts, and you could maybe say, well, do you want to pick something off the list, and do it that way. There's so many ways you can look at it that doesn't, and see if it is just you, yourself and your kids, then whatever you can do, you can do. Like I said to you, but I don't know if I said it. I don't think I've said it on here yet, because I was going to try and get somebody on. I've not actually managed to get to them yet. Remember, you don't have to buy gifts brand new. You can buy them second hand. That doesn't mean you're neglecting your children. I've bought second hand gifts for my kids over the years when they were younger. You can get away with a lot more when they're younger, because it depends, and teenagers are another breed, but when they're younger, like things like the kitchens and the trikes and all, you can get all that second hand in charity shops and different places. But even with older kids, you may be able to get certain things second hand, like PlayStations and all these different things, mobile phones. And yeah, they may know it's second hand, but their friends don't need to know. All they know is they got what they asked for Christmas. They don't actually need to know. Set it up so that it looks as if you've just set it up for them, and not that it's never came in a box. There's different ways to do it, and see if you're struggling to think of ideas. Genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, message me on any platform, any of my pages, email me, whatever it may be, and ask, how could you do the Christmas dinner? How could you do this, that or the next thing on your budget? There's charities out there as well that will help. If you're involved with social services or women's aid or any kind of charity like that, organisation like that, then they may be able to help. Don't get yourself into debt. I've done it. And you end up paying for Christmas, and then come next Christmas you're getting yourself into debt because you've only just finished paying last Christmas, and now you're going to start getting into debt again. And it's just a vicious circle that's so hard to get out of. And you know, as a single parent especially, we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves. If you are a sole parent and there's no other parent around, I think you put a bit more pressure on yourself because you feel as if you're trying to make up for parents that aren't there or family members that aren't involved in their lives or whatever. And that's not fair for us to put that pressure on ourselves, because then we don't get to enjoy what should be a magical time for us and our kids as much. Just watching their faces when they're opening their gifts on Christmas morning just goes to show that in actual fact it doesn't matter that they didn't get everything. Although I think I have told you about the time my oldest son was 3, I think, 2, 3, and the only thing he never got was his Superman figure. And well, did I not get told about that so many times, about how Santa didn't bring Superman, and having to explain. And I sat him down and explained exactly the way I said to everybody, to you at the beginning or previously on this episode, that maybe Santa had to give that gift to somebody else who that was all they asked for. Kids are a different. It's about how you word things, how you word it, and wording it in an age appropriate way to the child you're speaking to. It can be hard. It really can be hard, but don't make it any harder on yourself. Don't put any pressure on yourself. And see if you can, if the only tree that you're going to have is a little tabletop tree, you've got a tree. Again, don't put pressure on yourself because everything's so expensive. And if anybody who is within Glasgow doesn't have a tree, let me know, because I do have a tree I will be donating as soon as I finally order mine. And there's nothing wrong with the tree at all. And I've been getting into trouble with my youngest about getting a new tree and whatever else, but that tree is there if anybody would like it. Message me. You're welcome to it. I've also got a birthday. My youngest son's birthday is 4 days before Christmas. I was so panicking I was going to go into labour on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But thankfully I got in just a few days before. But I tell you, that's hard. We have thought over the years about, or should I say I have thought over the years about potentially not changing his birthday, but making his celebration maybe a couple of months earlier. Still celebrate his birthday on his birthday, and the fact that we'll do something, but like gifts and things like that, because he used to always say I have to wait until Christmas and everybody else gets a birthday before, and but because he's autistic, I don't think he would understand it as much if we changed it. So we just left it as it is, because he's not very good with changing. I don't think he would truly understand that he's already had his birthday if I changed it, and he would probably expect another load of gifts to the same value. So we'll just leave as is, and we just do family stuff that day, and if anybody can join in, they can, and if they can't, then they can celebrate with them another time, and that's fine. We don't mind doing that. It's just life, and it doesn't matter what time of the year you're thinking, but there's always going to be something that we stress about. And there's ways as well, like if you are doing the full Christmas dinner and you're cooking it all by yourself, like I will be, there's ways to not put all the stress on you on that one day. And if you're unsure how to do it, again, message me. You can make things in preparation days before. You can make things weeks before and put them in the freezer. There's certain things you can have ready and they just need to come out the freezer the night before or that morning or whatever. I wouldn't suggest doing your meats too early. You could put them in the oven when you get up in the morning, depending on what meats you're having, because some meats won't take as long as others, and some are better colder and some are better warmer, and some you can reheat, some you can't. So it will depend on what you're making. But again, if you are struggling with ideas of how to take some pressure off yourself, send me a message. What else have we got? Oh, we've got Halloween. When's that? 2 weeks' time. Who takes the kids still out trick-or-treating? We're past that stage. I used to love it, taking the kids out trick-or-treating and them deciding what they wanted to dress up as and all these different things, but our street, well, in saying that, we've got a few more kids just now living in the street, but for a long time it was a lot of elderly people in our street, so we didn't really get kids. But even still now, the way our house is situated, we don't really get kids at our door. So, but I've noticed there's a lot more teenagers going out for trick-or-treating in my area just the last few years. And we go through phases where the teenagers are like, oh no, I'm not doing that, that's not cool. And then you get the teenagers like, oh my god, I love this. So yeah, and I remember me and one of my friends, Ainsley, you may remember Ainsley was on one of the episodes, I think, was it last year or the start of the year? I can't remember. I think it was maybe last year. Ainsley was on talking about some holistic therapies and things, I think. Anyway, me and her went round the doors once, and God love this wee man. He gave us our orange and our nuts and our sweets and whatever else, and then he gave us I'll never forget, there was a 5p and a 1p, and I don't know if he realised how much he gave us and told us to share it between each other. I thought, God love you. He was a lovely wee man. He was very elderly. He was just so nice, but that was cute. But I think we were 13 or 14 at that time, so they probably weren't expecting teenagers to come to the door. I don't even know why we decided to go trick-or-treating that year. It was just one of the things, like, let's do it. And I think we dressed up as Centrinians or something like that. And basically stuck on our school uniform and said we were dressed up. Oh my goodness. And then we've got Guy Fawkes. I love fireworks. I would prefer they were kind of organised displays only, because I just think there's a lot of times where they're getting into the wrong hands, and some of the ones just now are very dangerous. I remember, I think I've told you this story before, probably around about this time last year. I was at my friend's, and her brother was lighting off a firework out the back garden, and then so he's literally lighting the firework and then coming into the kitchen to stand while the firework went off, and this firework chased him from the back end of his garden right into the kitchen. Well, never came in the kitchen, but right up the garden to the back door. That was quite scary. I remember when I was young, I would only been in single figures, I think, or 10 at the very latest, very oldest. And there was a fireworks display. It wasn't actually for Guy Fawkes, it was for something else. Something that had just opened or something like that in Glasgow. And he got burned, and I think he lost her hand. I can't actually remember everything that happened. I'd be lying, because I was a child at the time, so I can't remember the full story. But yeah, you hear so many horror stories, and you always hear the firemen, fire brigades, and the police and the ambulance and everything flying about. It's scary, scary times. But regardless of whether it's a holiday we're celebrating or whether it's just a day in the week where you're feeling a bit down on yourself or whatever, and it can just be a day that you're just feeling a bit not yourself, give yourself some time, give yourself a wee bit of a pamper session, whether it be going to your bed early and just lying and chilling out, or whether it be going for a bath when the kids are in their bed and getting to actually just lie there and soak in the bubbles. Do something for you. It might be going out for a walk. It could be making yourself a hot chocolate with marshmallows and cream, which I love this season for. That's my thing, my hot chocolate. Not that I can afford to be going to coffee shops to be buying hot chocolate every day, but I make it in the house. So yeah, cheap and cheerful, and see if you want to feel as if you've had one from a coffee shop. Get yourself one of the either the wee travel cups that you can buy for a couple of pounds, or buy yourself a packet of the paper cardboard mug cups with the lids on them that look like the ones out the coffee shops. I think you can get them for about £1 for, I think, 10. Get yourself them, make yourself feel as if you've been at the coffee shop and treated yourself. Listen, it's all about the mind over matter. Let your mind take you away from the matter. What's the matter? You'll also find that people may not want to socialise so much leading up to Christmas because they can't afford it. And I'm one of them. Who was I talking to today? I think I was talking to one of my friends today, and we were talking about doing a night out, I think it was. And I said, oh, I won't be doing anything until after Christmas, because between now and Christmas I'll be concentrating on putting money away for Christmas presents. I mean, I don't have many people to buy Christmas presents for, just the two boys, my mum, my dad, and my dad's wife. I've got nobody else to buy for because my grand's not here anymore. But I need to buy Christmas dinner, and I've got my youngest birthday as well. And it's not about me putting too much pressure on myself, it's just about me making sure I don't put any added pressure on myself by spending money on a night out. And I don't drink, so it wouldn't be a lot of money, but I'd still the next day think, oh my god, I could have put that away for something else. And everything's so expensive just now as well, isn't it? Regardless of whether it's a gift or food, you just feel as if every time you go to the shops the prices have gone up. It's hard, it is hard. And it's hard for anybody, and even people that do have money, or how you perceive them to have money, they'll be struggling to an extent just now as well. Some of them will, obviously not all of them, some will, because the more money you've got coming in also can mean the more outgoings you've got. So your mortgage may be higher, or your rent may be higher because you may be in a more affluent area or a bigger house, which then means your council tax is higher. It also means that your tax bill from your earnings is higher. Your car might be more expensive, like all these different things. So just because somebody's got some money in the bank or a better wage than you doesn't mean to say they're not feeling the pinch as well. If you do enjoy socialising, but you don't want to spend the money on going nights out, why not do a thing with your friends where you are all going to each other's houses? You could do a sort of come dine with me type night, weekend, whatever, and it could be that, or month. So say there's 4 of yous, so, and you could arrange it for every Friday or Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you choose, and one does the cooking one week, one does the cooking the next week, or you could all take, one person could do the main meal, the other person could do pudding, dessert, somebody could do the starter, somebody could do the drinks, or instead of one person being left to pay for the full main meal, one person could pay for the meats and the other person could pay for the sides. There's loads of different ways of doing it that isn't going to cost an absolute fortune. You will hear a lot of people though saying they've got all these nights outs and they're so excited, but don't let that get you down if you've not got all the nights outs. I don't really socialise that much just now. I haven't for a long time, but that's my choice. I've chose that, and mainly because obviously my sons have only got me, and then my younger one, he has his own issues, and plus I'm trying to build a business and I've had health problems and all these different things, and it's not to say I'll never socialise again. I will, but on my terms, when I'm ready and when I want to, not just because somebody's making me feel as if I have to. And it's not that I don't socialise, that I probably worded that wrong. I do socialise. I go to friends' houses, or we go out for coffee, or we go for walks or whatever else, but I don't go on nights out. I don't, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of past that stage. If it's going to a pub or anything like that, that's not really my thing anymore. I don't drink anymore. But there's loads of different ways that you can. Like, I enjoy going to the cinema. I don't mind going to like the theatre and things like that. Going to things that you enjoy. But I've got so many plans for the coming years that I won't be able to afford to socialise till at least we want 2025. Maybe about 2030, 2035 maybe. You'll need to come and find me and see what country I'm in. But yeah, I've got so many work plans. I want to build my business before I mean, not to say I'm not going to socialise well and build my business, obviously I'll try, but I just want to make sure my boys are happy. And I'm very picky about who's in our life as well. I like to just have good people around about the boys. I've always been very wary who I've had round my boys from day dot, from when they were born. But let's stop as parents, as adults, as whether you've got children or whether you're just worrying about how you're going to buy a house in the future if you don't have children, or will I ever get married, or anything that's going to happen. Just try not to put that pressure on yourself, because whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and forcing it to happen could mean that you take yourself down the wrong path. Forcing yourself to make sure you get married, but you don't actually know who you're going to marry, so you might end up marrying the wrong person. Forcing yourself to buy a house because you want the bought house might mean that you choose the wrong house in the wrong area with the wrong neighbours, and you might hate it. And it's not so easy to move when you are buying a house, when you've bought a house, than it is when you're renting a house. You might end up buying a house that's way out with your reach just because you want to be able to have that status that you've got a bought house, and that's not the way to do it. Let it all flow naturally. When it feels right, it'll feel right. Just don't force anything. Don't force relationships. Don't force yourself to buy something just because you want that status, whether it be a car, a house, or whatever. Because again, it's putting pressure on yourself, and when you've got that huge financial commitment, it's not easy to get out of it. And buying a house means that you've got that commitment for a long time, obviously, unless you sell and decide to rent or move in with somebody else or whatever. But self-care doesn't just mean treating yourself to a cup of coffee or a bath. Self-care also means like taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, financially, in every way, because nobody can take care of you as well as you can take care of you. And I suppose that's the best advice I could give to anybody, is nobody knows you better than you know yourself. You know your needs, you know your limits, although sometimes we can all push our limits just to prove to ourselves that we can do it. Don't tell yourself you can't do something, because unless you've actually tried, you won't know. And even if you have tried, there's always a second time where you could try, and you might be able to do it that time. But yeah, we're getting into the dark nights, the early dark nights, should I say. Every night's dark, but the dark nights. And it's time to the cold nights in the UK or wherever you are, and it might be winter. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself, but also look out for the people round about you. And I don't just mean your friends and your family. Look out for elderly neighbours or any neighbour, because it doesn't matter what age you are. You could have illnesses, something could just... Listen, none of us are promised tomorrow. Just look out for each other, look out for everybody. Obviously, if somebody's not doing the same for you, as in being kind, being nice, being whatever, maybe they've got something they need to work through, or maybe they're just not a very nice person. If they're just not a very nice person, you don't need to have that person in your life. I've said this to you many times, and I will continue to say it, and I'll talk about it in future episodes. But again, that's another part of self-care, making sure that you've got the right people in your life and not the wrong people. But we don't always, when it comes to the wrong people being in our lives, we don't always see it. If we're too close to the person, or there's strong feelings there, we won't always see that they're the wrong person for us or to be in our life. Sometimes it will take for others to point it out to us. And if somebody is trying to point it out to you, it's not because they're trying to hurt you or trying to take a friend away from you or a partner away from you. It's they're looking out for your best interest. So instead of just automatically dismissing what they're saying, have a think. You don't have to let them know that you're having a think. Just say okay, or whatever you want to say. But in your own time, have a think about what that person's saying. Are they right? Have you been blindsided? Are they wrong and they just don't understand that person? Time will tell, and if they're the right person to be in your life, they'll be in it, and if they're not, they won't. But only you can make that decision. But let's see how the future goes. But if anybody is struggling to take care of themselves, or they do feel as if they need something a bit more than just a wee bit of self-care, they do need somebody to talk to, send me a message. As I've said in every episode, we do have appointments available. There's certain days where I may only be able to fit you in for a Zoom call or a phone call. But regardless of where you are in the world, I can get you an appointment. We can work with your time zone, don't worry about that. But obviously if you're outside Glasgow, the surrounding areas, it will have to be a Zoom call or a video call. We obviously also offer life coaching and business coaching. So if you're struggling just now and you want to make sure that 2026 is going to be a bit more positive within your personal life or your business life, send me a message and we'll have a discussion and see how we can help. Also, if you do have a business and you maybe primarily do some Christmas stock at this time of year, that might be your main thing at this time of year, then let me know and we'll get you advertised on here. There's packages for everybody. We can do sponsors. You can sponsor the podcast, or you can advertise on the podcast. If you'd like to come on the podcast, either this one or the business podcast, you can send me a message. But if you keep an eye on the Reboot Sanctuary social media pages or even the website, there will be some new stuff coming. Not in the coming weeks, but in the coming months there will be, that might be of use to some people. Maybe not all of you, but maybe some people might get some benefit from it. We are going to try and get some videos up that might be able to help you with some self-help things that you can do for yourself at home and all these different things. So keep an eye out. May even collab with a few people. I've not got the dotted the I's and crossed the T's or even asked them yet. Listen, I'm winging life as much as anybody else most of the time. When it comes to my business, I'm very on point. Like when it comes to my knowledge, when it comes to me adding things in, I put notes in my phone to remind myself of what I'm planning on adding in. And when I want to ask people to come on, I put notes in my phone. And listen, I'm like anybody else. And as I said away at the start of this episode, I'm very menopausal, so I forget things a lot. So sometimes I do forget to look back at the notes, which is why I am constantly putting alarms and putting timers and adding things to my phone's diary, so that the phone calendar, so that it can remind me that I'm supposed to be doing something. But yeah, this week I just thought, let's do a quick check-in, because it's going to start getting busy, hustle and bustle. Everybody's going to be talking about Christmas nights out, going to ice rinks, doing the Santa thing, doing the everything. And some people may just feel as if that's too much pressure on them, and see if it is, you need to just decide what's important and take it from there. Take a deep breath, write down your notes on your phone if you have to, write down in a notepad, whatever it is to make you feel better, and just go with it. Don't stress, and message me if you do start to flap. If you start to flap, start to stress, you can start feeling the anxiety, you're stopping breathing, you are do not, because I've been there. Listen, I've been in that goldfish bowl many times and it is horrendous. So do not let yourself get to that point. Please, thank you kindly, sir and madam. But yeah, I will go for now. But if anybody is interested in counselling, life coaching, wellness coaching, business coaching, hop ear candling, Indian head massage, cupping massage therapy, hot stone massage therapy, or manual lymphatic drainage, send me a message. Obviously, the holistic therapies that are hands-on can only be done face-to-face, so you would need to be in Glasgow or the surrounding areas. Anything else, i.e. counselling, life coaching, business coaching, wellness coaching, can be offered to anybody regardless of where you are in the world, as we can do them over Zoom or over phone call. And I think that's all. Oh, and also if you are looking to book in, we do an initial phone consultation first, which is absolutely free, no obligation, and that just means that we check to make sure you can speak freely to me, you feel comfortable speaking to me, I'm the right person for you, and that I am qualified for your needs, because we won't take anybody on and make your issue or your struggles any worse than what they already are. Apart from that, I am done. I have so many videos to make for social media. I've got some notes to write up from today's appointments. I think after that I can actually chill out. Let's see if it works that way. I very much doubt it. But I'm going to go for now. And just another quick reminder, check in with yourself and then check in with everybody else and make sure you're all okay. You can socialise without having to spend too much money or any money. You may be able to just use things that are in your cupboard. Socialise from home if you have to. If you don't want to be out in the hustle and bustle, or even just you don't want to be out in the cold, socialise from home, a friend's home, your home, family home, whatever. And also save money on babysitters. Think it that way. But if I don't hear from any of you, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope I will speak to you all soon, whether you listen or whether you talk back to me as another story. But I'll go for now, and if you want to follow any of the social media pages, you've got a personal TikTok, which is alien_this and that. You've got Reboot Your Thoughts podcast on TikTok, Instagram and Facebook, as is the Reboot Sanctuary and also Reboot Your Business podcast. And you can follow any or all or none as you please. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.